The Mysterious Island by Tiersid and Shaw. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a group of 4 named Jack, Lily, Max, and Emma. They were adventurous kids who always loved to explore new places and go on exciting journeys. One day, they stumbled upon a map that led them to a mysterious island. The map was old and faded, and it seemed to be drawn by hand with a feather quill. It was said that the island was cursed, and many brave explorers who had attempted to visit it had never returned. But the 4 friends were determined to find out what lay beyond the shores of this island. They set sail on their small boat, with nothing but their backpacks, and a compass to guide them. As they approached the island, they could see that it was covered in thick jungle, and there was no sign of any civilization. The moment they landed on the island, they felt an eerie silence that surrounded them. There was no sound of birds chirping or animals scurrying. It was as if the island was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The friends started to explore the island, walking through the dense jungle, and pushing aside the thick foliage. Suddenly, they heard a rustling sound coming from behind them. They turned around to see a small monkey looking at them curiously. The monkey led them to a clearing where they found a small village, hidden away from the rest of the island. The villagers were friendly and welcomed the children with open arms. They told the children that they were the only people living on the island, and they had been there for generations. The children were fascinated by the villagers and their way of life. They learned that the villagers were experts at farming and fishing, and they had everything they needed to live a simple but fulfilling life. As the children explored the village, they discovered that there was a dark secret hidden beneath the surface. The villagers were living in fear of a powerful monster that lived in the depths of the jungle. They believed that the monster was the reason why no one had ever returned from the island. The children were determined to find out the truth about the monster. They went into the jungle, armed with sticks and torches, ready to face whatever lay ahead. After walking for hours, they stumbled upon a cave. The entrance was covered in vines, and there was a strange smell emanating from within. The children cautiously entered the cave, holding their torches high, and their hearts pounding in their chests. As they walked further into the cave, they saw a pair of glowing eyes staring back at them from the darkness. The children stood frozen in fear, but they slowly realized that the monster they were looking for was actually a giant dragon. The dragon was massive, with scales that shimmered like diamonds, and eyes that glowed like the sun. The children were terrified, but they didn't want to hurt the dragon. Instead, they tried to communicate with it, hoping that they could find a way to make peace. The dragon spoke to them, and the children were surprised to find that it was friendly and kind. It told them that it had been living on the island for centuries, and it had never harmed anyone. The dragon had only ever defended itself when it felt threatened. The children realized that the villagers had been mistaken about the dragon. They had misunderstood its intentions and had been living in fear for no reason. The children knew that they had to convince the villagers to see the dragon in a different light. They went back to the village and spoke to the elders, explaining that the dragon was not a monster but a friend. The elders were skeptical at first, but when the dragon flew over the village, they saw that it posed no threat to them. The villagers welcomed the dragon, and they found a way to live with it. The children spent the next few days exploring the island and getting to know the villagers. They learned how to fish, farm, and even how to make pottery. They felt like they were part of the village and were sad when the time came for them to leave. As they prepared to leave the island, the children realized that they had one more thing they needed to do. They wanted to help the villagers find a way to protect themselves from any future threats. The children came up with a plan to build a fence around the village, using the resources they had on the island. They worked tirelessly, day and night, until the fence was completed. It was strong and sturdy, and they were proud of what they had accomplished. The villagers were grateful for what the children had done, and they threw a feast in their honor. They ate fish, fruits, and vegetables that had been grown on the island, and danced to the beat of drums. As the night grew late, the children said their goodbyes and boarded their boat. They were sad to leave, but they knew that they had made a difference. They had helped the villagers see the dragon in a new light, and they had made the island a safer place for them to live. As they sailed away, the children couldn't help but feel a sense of longing for the island. They knew that they would never forget the memories they had made there. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. The children had returned to their daily lives, but they couldn't forget the island and the friends they had made. They missed the sound of the waves crashing on the shore and the smell of the salty sea air. One day, as they were sitting in class, the teacher announced that there was going to be a science fair. The children were excited, and they immediately started brainstorming ideas for their project. They decided to create a model of the island and the village. They worked hard, using materials such as clay, twigs, and leaves to bring the island to life. On the day of the science fair, the children's model stood out from the rest. It was realistic and detailed, with every inch of the island accurately represented. The judges were impressed, and they awarded the children first place. The children were ecstatic, and they couldn't wait to share the news with their friends. They decided to plan a surprise party, where they would unveil their model and tell the story of their adventure on the mysterious island. The day of the party arrived, and the children's friends gathered around the model, listening intently to their story. They were amazed by the details and the bravery of the children. As they looked at the model, they noticed something strange. The leaves on the trees were moving, and they could hear the sound of waves crashing on the shore. They looked closer and saw that the model had come to life. The children couldn't believe their eyes. They were transported back to the island, and they could see their friends from the village waving at them. They ran towards them, laughing and smiling. The children realized that the island was no longer just a memory, but a part of them that they could keep with them forever. They had created a bond with the island and its inhabitants that would last a lifetime. From that day on, the children continued to go on adventures and explore new places, but they always remembered the mysterious island and the lessons they had learned there. They knew that even in the most unlikely of places, they could find friendship, bravery, and adventure. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share.